All right, so today it is my pleasure to interview Noelle from Bayside Surrogacy. Where is that, by the way? I guess I should have.
Huntington, California.
Sorry, where?
Huntington Beach, California.
Okay, very nice. All right, so Noelle, please tell us why you started your surrogacy agency.
So Bayside Surrogacy was born essentially out of the loss of my daughter. I lost my daughter at 23 weeks during my pregnancy. My water broke early due to prom. We had been trying to conceive for several years and had 2 earlier losses as well. And when you have a second trimester loss, third trimester loss, essentially any loss, there's a significant amount of trauma that goes along with it. And I think that a lot of the people that take the approach and needs the help of a surrogate have gone through some trauma and loss. And I think it's important for them to have someone who's compassionate and understanding and can show true empathy for that situation. And, you know, I don't wish it upon anyone, but I think when it does happen, it's easier when someone's walked in your shoes and they can kind of understand some of the emotional trauma that comes with that and a subsequent pregnancy.
Yes, absolutely. So how long has your surrogacy agency been around? And so tell us about your prior experience in the surrogacy industry, how long this agency has been around, and approximately how many cases you'd like to take in a given year.
Absolutely. So after my second loss back in 2017, I started working for an agency and managing cases. It's such a rewarding experience, such a beautiful thing to get to be a part of. And then after the loss of my daughter last year in August, kind of from the ashes, I say, is where I built this agency. I wanted something to kind of honor her and honor her memory, and to support other parents with similar experiences who might be in the same boat as me, whether it be financially or emotionally. So that was where Bayside Surrogacy started last year. So maximum cases that I want to take on in a year is 8 full cycles, and that's handheld start to finish. I, generally with an agency, a case manager is managing anywhere from 15 to 20 cases. But I think with this type of approach, you want personal care and attention, and there's a little bit more of an emotional balance that you need to have to it. And I think it's important to be able to provide that type of attention and care and not necessarily be spread too thin. So that's my personal management. We also have some past surrogates that do case management if necessary for more cases where I could supervise and they can manage as well. So we have already done 6 cycles.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So just working on helping people, wherever that's customized for them, right? Some people have needed start to finish. They need help finding a surrogate. They need the emotional support and understanding what they're going to navigate through when their surrogate does get pregnant, especially when they have some anxiety dealing with a loss that might be at 8 weeks, might be at 16 weeks, might be the security here.
So for any potential IPs out there, please provide a summary of your benefits and kind of what makes you different than from the other agencies out there.
Yeah, so I am one of those people. I know I've been in this industry for several years. I've had experience with, several different agencies. We collaborate with good agencies, right? That's what good agencies kind of do. There are great agencies out there, terrific agencies, a handful. But the fees are astronomical and it's just not manageable for some families. And there are some families that maybe have the time or the organization to manage some of their own cycles, and they would prefer to do that at a discounted price, or they prefer to find their own surrogate. Some agencies will still charge their full fee when you bring in your own surrogate. To me, that doesn't seem reasonable, right? That's part of our marketing costs. So that should be a benefit to parents. If they have their own surrogate, they've gone through that legwork, right? there should be some financial benefit to them. And I think that the agencies, for me, Bayside Surrogacy is about helping to adapt to some people in different situations. Like I said, if they have a family member and they say, hey, I just need you to help us managing the first part of the cycle and the monitoring. And what I do with family members is, if anything potentially pops up, right there, you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
So you can help a little bit of management emotionally if something goes astray and during a journey. So things like that. It's not cookie cutter. No pregnancy is cookie cutter. Nothing ever goes the same. So why do some agencies set up with that approach, with the cookie cutter? This is what we do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You have to have all this kit and caboodle. We're all different. We're all individuals. Every pregnancy is different. And I think that the approach should be the same, adaptable to each individual.
I totally agree. That's amazing. So please provide, well, actually, before I go there, so for any potential surrogates out there, please provide a summary of the benefits of joining your agency.
Yeah, so one of the benefits as a surrogate for joining us as well is the same thing, same types of compassion. I had a hard pregnancy. I know that it's not easy on your body, so I want to make sure that they have the benefits and the support as well. It's very common, especially in the US, to work with an international parent as a surrogate. So I think you should have that same type of emotional support that might not be provided by an international parent. They have different cultures, different customs. So that's when I will step in and kind of provide that support and provide that connection and appreciation that might not be expressed because of cultural differences. Also making sure that, they get a little bit relaxation time in once COVID isn't a thing, right? And unfortunately, that's been hindering, though, as long as we've been in existence, Bayside. We're going to do annual retreats for our surrogates to be able to get together and connect with one another. And one of the main things with Bayside is we're working with parents with a different sense of compassion, right? So if you're a surrogate out there and you feel a calling to help someone obviously everyone's genuinely in need, but has different needs, and maybe different financial needs and a different level of empathy. And that comes from the surrogate as well, right? And their approach with the parent. So as a surrogate, if you're one of those people that really wants to genuinely help someone in need and understands everyone's situations are different, those are the girls we're reaching out to. And we support them with different level of emotional support and personal connection, because we're just so thankful, so beyond thankful. I don't think surrogates, I don't think they realize what they're actually doing for a family and what they're providing. Like, it is I'm going to cry, of course, postpartum hormones, but it is the greatest gift, and you'll never give someone anything as valuable.
Yeah. That's now you're gonna make me cry too.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's amazing. And then my last question is I'm going to ask you to provide an example of a time where there was an issue during the surrogacy journey and you stepped in to help resolve the issue.
So obviously, like I said, no journey is the same. There's things that pop up and you have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, and you have to be a problem solver. You cannot do this without being a problem solver. So one of the greatest issues that I've had to deal with is probably something that nobody expected. I don't know if you even heard about it, but there was a very popular insurance provider that went bankrupt, went out of business, stopped paying surrogate claims.
Oh.
All over the country were using this insurance provider, and it just went kaput. And a lot of, I shouldn't say it, but some agencies did not provide support for these surrogates that were getting bills, because if the insurance that they set them up with wasn't paying the claim,
Yeah.
they didn't. So I actually found answers, jumped through hoops, and actually personally negotiated balances, cash pay balances, And I guess the best one I was able to manage was a $250,000 hospital bill
Oh my gosh.
that I was able to negotiate down to $5,000 for the
Wow.
parent to do a cash pay, which obviously isn't ideal. You know, they've paid for the insurance. They were hoping not to pay anything else, but they were able to do a $5,000 cash pay and settle that so that this astronomical hospital bill was not tied to this surrogate for the rest of her life, right? Who could pay that? Who could pay $250,000? You
It's like,
expect?
you can get me started on medical. I just can't.
Oh, I know, especially when an insurance agency goes bankrupt
Yes.
and you're paying the premium, and all of a sudden they decide to not pay claims, and you're like, wait, I already had this child
Yeah.
a month ago. Yeah, it
Oh
it
my
blows
gosh.
it blows my mind. But that was a huge issue in 2020
Was
and
that just for surrogates, or was that for like more than just the surrogates?
no, it was a policy called pregnancy care. It was just for surrogates. It was a policy designed just for surrogates. And so it obviously had a little bit higher of a premium because they knew, hey, you're gonna be just dealing with people that are pregnant. Yeah. So that
Yeah,
was
that's a fabulous example.
a learning.
$250,000 all the way down to 5.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
A lot of work,
Yeah.
but became the master of negotiating
You.
balances for a lot of girls to make sure that nobody was left behind with any medical debt.
Wow. Wow. Um, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Noelle. I really appreciate you taking out time today. This was a great interview. Honestly, if I were to be if I were to start a surrogacy agency, I would want it to look like yours. Very compassionate, very, very wonderful. So thank you very much. And that's it.
Thank you. It was great chatting with you. I love what you've done. I love the outreach and the approach that you've had on Instagram, and just that you're helping so many people. I don't think you realize it. Like I found you, just
Oh,
poking
thank
through
you
the
so much.
internet.
I really appreciate it. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So keep it up. Keep helping people a little bit at a time. It's just beautiful.
Thank
Turns
you.
into
Thank you so much.
you're welcome.